This is the EZ Pedaler T500. It's called that because it's got a 500 watt geared front hub motor. It's just all inclusive. You can see it's got the fenders, very functional, you know, good for kind of city riding with that rack back there. And yeah, efficient because it's got a internally geared rear hub. You can see that back there. That's a Nexus hub that you can actually shift while you're standing still. Kind of keeps it free and clear of dust and dirt and the elements. Kind of a fun bike. Double-legged kickstand. So let me just jump into some of the specs here. I already mentioned the Nexus hub in the rear. 3 speeds. You can just shift it right here. Real easy. And in so doing, bringing this hub back here and using that band brake over there, they've had to move the motor to the front. So if we jump up here, you can see that's the hub motor. It's actually by 8Fun. You can see that there. 500 watt gear, that's very powerful. It's torquey, relatively quiet, but you do hear it. And frankly, when I've ridden this bike, you know, it does add some weight to the front. So as you're steering, you kind of feel the inertia of that motor a little bit more than if it was a rear design, but it does sort of even out the weight distribution. So you see the motor's there, the battery's right there, and it keeps the bike a little bit more stable from front to rear. And it's all pretty low to the ground, like that battery. The battery is removable. It's a 36 volt, 12 amp hour design. Sits right there, really nice. There's the specs on it. And it's nice that you can remove it, because if you need to put this on your car or travel somewhere with it, load it onto a truck, you can reduce the weight of the bike by just popping that off. And of course, charging that inside if you need to leave your bike outside. They've got this handy lever. See that? Just boosts the seat right up. Pretty cool. The rack is fairly standard. The fact that this has 2 lights is awesome. And the front one is actually operated from this control panel. So you just turn the bike on, hit light, and it starts shining. But the rear light is not integrated, and so you actually have to physically come back here and press that on button. Thankfully, it isn't powered by the main battery though, so if you forget and leave this on, you'll only burn out the batteries in this light. But it's a little bit inconvenient that it's not integrated. So I don't know, that's one of my minor gripes. The fenders, I think I mentioned, just nice to keep you dry and clean, and they've got the sort of the mud flaps at the bottom, which really helps and kind of drips water off there. It's even got a chain guard over here, which is cool. So as you're pedaling, if you have pants on or whatever, it's not going to get greasy on the chain. And frankly, the chain isn't going to be as dirty in general because of that internally geared hub in the rear. The chain can stay tighter because you don't need a derailleur or anything. So it's pretty cool. It's a neat design. It's, again, efficient, clean. I do like this sort of swept back handlebars that they've got up here. It gives you that upright seating position and a softer saddle. They've got this suspension fork as well. Very basic. You know, it's got, maybe this is like preload adjustment right here. Nothing too fancy. And I mentioned the drum brake in the rear. It's got sort of a V brake in the front. That's going to give you good stopping power. And the tires are kind of, you know, typical. It's sort of hybrid, a little bit of street tread in the middle, a little bit of nubs on the outside, so if you needed to go on a trail, that'd be cool. And I like the fact that it's step-through design like this. That just means it's going to be a lot easier to hop on this bike. And the pedals are metal, so it's good transfer and stiffness, but they kind of have this rubberized grip, so if it is wet, be careful not to slip. That's pretty much it. This is kind of standard. It's even got an adjustable stem right here, but this is not something that you could adjust on the fly. And frankly, I've seen these get loose over time, so make sure it's tight and get that set up before you really start riding this thing, and be careful going off curbs. So it's, you know, I guess that's the quick overview of what this bike offers. It's functional. You're not getting a huge range on the gears. It's pretty powerful, but there's a little bit of steering variation because of the weight. And the big drawback here is there's no like LCD computer console telling you how fast you're going or precisely how much battery is left or how far you've gone, right? It's just this kind of basic plastic thing. So I've turned it on, and you can switch modes from low, medium, or high, and it just uses a cadence sensor. So I don't know if you can see in there, there's this plastic plate, and it's got these little magnets on it. And I think this one only has 6 magnets, so it's not the most responsive. You pedal, and it goes and it kicks on, and then you stop pedaling and it keeps going for a little bit. So I guess it could be described as a little bit more jerky, but if you keep it in that low setting, it's decent. And you've got that thumb throttle. I love the fact that you can use the thumb throttle at any time in addition to pedal assist. So again, pretty good setup, and the price on this is reasonable. I think it's around 2,000 bucks. And they have gone to extra lengths here to secure the motor. You can see that's like a torque plate right there. It's decent. This isn't like cutting edge e-bike technology, but it's a nice package, and I think it comes in a few colors, definitely silver and black. So let's give it a go. I'm gonna go ahead and use the twist or the trigger throttle here and just show you what that motor sounds like. So you can hear it a little bit more because it is geared, but you get that extra torque for climbing and accelerating. It's not too bad. I'm gonna do the pedal assist now. See how it's a little bit laggy? I pedal and it takes a second to kick in, and then it keeps going even after I've stopped pedaling. That's kind of a hallmark of a simple Pedelec system, but it keeps it simple and pretty cheap. Top speed on this bike is about 20 miles per hour in pedaling or throttle mode before the motor cuts out. And yeah, for more information on the T500 from EZ Pedaler, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.